In this section the following subjects will be covered. Identification of common components and the location on the electrical schematics. You should always refer to your machine-specific service and repair manual before attempting any repairs. In order for a function to operate, the electric motor must run to provide pump flow, and a solenoid-operated valve must be shifted to direct oil to the actuator. The electronic control unit, or ECU, provides all motor controller and solenoid outputs whether operating from the platform or the base controls. When operating from the platform, PCON communicates user inputs to the ECU via CAN bus. The ECU monitors switch and sensor states, determines whether or not the function is safe to operate, or should operate in a limited speed range, and gives outputs accordingly. This is the platform controller, or PCON. In this view of PCON, you can see the connector locations and wire placement. The control cable between PCON and the ECU connect to the printed circuit card on a single connector. The joystick has a dedicated connector for joystick power, joystick position, enable switch, and steer wires. The ECU monitors operator inputs, limit switch and sensor inputs. It is responsible for maintaining safe operation by providing, limiting, or disabling outputs based on the state of the machine. The function of the DC motor controller is to vary the electric motor speed for proportional control of lift and drive functions. B+ is the main power supply when the motor contactor is closed. B- is the main battery negative connection. M- is the motor negative connection. M- connection to B- is pulse to vary motor speed, based on the throttle input. Terminal 1 is powered with a 24 VDC signal from the ECU to turn on the motor controller when a function is commanded. Terminal 3 is a proportional signal from ECU that varies from 0 volts at rest, to nearly 5 volts when full motor speed is commanded. The DC motor controller that is pictured is a Kinetec brand. This is a legend showing symbols used on the electrical schematics. Take a moment to familiarize yourself with these symbols, and their descriptions. This is the Gen 5 DC scissors electrical schematics. This is a picture of the complete electrical schematics that consists of 4 pages for the following machines: GS 1530, 1532, 1930, and 1932 from serial number GS 3007A89538 to GS 3010A99455. GS 1530, 1532, 1930, 1932 from serial number GS 3007B84600 to GS 3009B98941 Revision D. The left side of the schematic shows components located in the base of the machine. This is where you'll find the batteries on nearly every Genie schematic. 4 6-volt batteries are cabled together in series to create a high-capacity 24-volt battery pack. From the positive side of the battery pack, connections are made to the 275-amp fuse. The battery charger is located in the lower left-hand corner. Next to the batteries are the battery disconnect, the DC motor, and the DC motor controller. The ground control components such as the circuit breaker, stop, and key switch are in the upper left. The ECU is in the center of page. At the bottom of the ECU on the electrical schematic, you will find all the solenoid valve outputs located in one area. All these solenoids except for the platform down coil, are located in the same place on the machine, so it makes sense to put them in one location on the schematics. It also makes it much quicker to troubleshoot valve coil faults by the schematic when the components are easier to find. Callouts you will find for the individual coils are pin locations on the amp plug, wire color, function of the coil, and a specific coil callout that carries over to the hydraulic schematic, and the manifold diagrams. The steer coils Y3 and Y4 have been selected as an example. The steer valve symbol from the hydraulic schematic and manifold drawing, with the coils labeled, show you how you can relate one schematic to the other to gain a very broad view of the interaction between the electrical and hydraulic control systems. This is how the manifold is depicted in the service and repair manual under the function manifold section. Once you have diagnosed a problem by the schematic or are ready to troubleshoot a circuit, this section helps take the guesswork out of finding the components on the machine.